confusing when they write to find. I think it's just like, a Danny DeVito lookalike contest, and he entered and came third.
Okay.
I think it's that was just a guess, but I don't know.
It can't be.
Who could come third?
It's not going to be an A-list, is it?
I reckon it's somebody who's aged. So it's got to be someone from the 80s or something, and then maybe they entered it in the noughties, and someone thought that it wasn't them.
Okay. God, yeah. That's a whole conversation, isn't it? About like celebrities that have fallen out of favour.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
And then there's some now that are coming back. Like,
yeah,
like.
I mean, Chuck Norris, he's a roller coaster of a bloke, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
that's a dangerous topic to. But yeah, Chuck and Steven Seagal.
Mate, Rick Astley. Rick Astley's making BBC Radio 1 videos and stuff.
Mate,
what's going on?
Rick Astley, it's crazy, isn't it? Rick Astley, it's a bit like, what's Kylie's fella called from back in the day? Who did she go out with? From Neighbours, the famous... Anyway, people will be screaming at us right now because we don't know, but Kylie, Jason Donovan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kylie and Jason, they were a couple, weren't they? So Jason Donovan now, he's doing adverts and he's got a radio slot and this and that. It's like, yeah, but speaking of Rick Astley, right?
Yeah. Go on.
We were in, my girlfriend and I were on holiday, right?
Yeah.
We're in the Caribbean and we get from the hotel to the airport. We've got a taxi driver, right? Just a local bloke.
Mm-hmm.
And he's driving along and he's making small talk and he's like, "Where are you from?" We say, "England." And he said, you can see his eyes like ticking over, like he's thinking about something.
Yeah.
And he's like weighing up whether to ask something or not. And he turns around and he says, "Do you know Rick Astley?" And I said, "Well, I don't know him personally, no, but I know who he is." And he's like, "Oh, I'm a massive Rick Astley fan." He's like, "Rick Astley's like my favourite singer of all time. I know all his songs, I've got all his records, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Yeah, I just wondered if you knew anything about Rick Astley, anything to like expand my knowledge of Rick Astley."
Wow.
Basically.
That is hilarious.
So I said, I told him, usually nowadays people either listen to Rick Astley in Reflex, the 80s club, or they listen to it when they've clicked on a link and didn't realise they were going to get Rickrolled.
Yeah.
And they've got Rick Astley like blaring out at them, or at some like a wedding DJ plays Rick Astley.
Yeah.
But this guy loved it. And I think he was like a kite surfing instructor or something when he was younger. Because he must have been 50, 60, this guy.
Sure.
And he said, yeah, but back in the 80s, I was a kite surfing instructor. And in the Caribbean, Rick Astley was massive. And he was like,
That's
everyone
so
bought
funny.
Rick Astley albums and listened to Rick Astley. And this guy clearly, was still a fan all these years later.
Amazing. Fair play.
So,
Well,
yeah.
dude, I mean, they were pushing a video of him doing a cover of Everlong by the Foo Fighters.
Really?
Have you not seen? It was on like BBC Radio 1 and stuff, and yeah, it wasn't that good. I didn't think personally. I mean, it was fine. It was good. Like it was okay, but it wasn't like worthy of going viral for. Yeah, no, it's
right.
It was like okay. I think it was just the fact that it's like, oh look, it's Rick Astley singing a Foo Fighters song. That's
right.
Isn't that weird?
But wasn't he? Didn't the Foo Fighters like get him up at Glastonbury or something at some gig? It was a big gig, and I think Rick Astley was there watching from the side before doing the sound check or something.
Really?
And they said, "Oh, yeah, I think it was Foo Fighters. I think maybe that's why he's done it because I think they were like, oh, during the set, why don't you come out and we'll do Never Gonna Give You Up as the
oh
Foo
man,
Fighters,
I need
but
to
you're
see
gonna
that.
sing
I
it."
want to see that. That seems pretty good. But yeah,
I'm
maybe.
pretty sure it was Foo Fighters.
Wow. Okay, well that makes sense. There's a link then, I guess. But yeah, that's another one. Hanson as well.
Hanson. Oh yeah. Well, those guys.
Maybe a couple of years ago now,
dudes.
but they were good-looking dudes. But that acoustic cover of Mbop came out.
Yeah.
And like, everyone went mental over that.
Yeah.
It is good. I kind of want to cover that actually. Personally, that's on my
Yeah,
next.
it's a good tune.
That's on my to-do list.
Let's do it.
I'm actually well up for doing that. If you're up for it as well, do some harmonies.
Yeah, man. Sold.
Anyway, sorry. Let's go back to the quiz. I apologise.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so we didn't pick a person who entered a contest, a lookalike contest, and came third. Shall we go for Rick Astley?
I was going to say, dare we say Rick Astley?
Let's go, Rick.
All right.
Okay. Next question. French artist Aquabaus paints cows with what material? Aquabaus or Aquabus, maybe. My pronunciation's getting a run out today.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Just because you said it.
Gotta get
having to pronounce Portuguese words and French words.
What material?
Aquabus. Maybe it's cow dung. Maybe it's cow.
That was my.
If he's painting cows.
That was my goal. But how many colours of cow dung are there?
Oh, maybe it's.
50 Shades of Cow Dung. That's the fifth. That's the next book in the series.
Maybe he puts like food colouring into the dung.
Oh yeah,
and like has pots of different stuff.
Oh, that's true.
So maybe it looks like paint or like oil paint, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's actually cow.
Sure. Do it. Cow dung.
Let's go cow dung. Okay, next question. In 1978, an Iowa judge dismissed a drink driving charge for what obscure reason?
66.
I reckon it's a priest. 1978.
Oh, 1978. Sorry, Jesus, what am I listening to?
I reckon it's a priest, and he was doing a communion or something.
Where was it again? Sorry, I feel like I didn't actually listen to the question whatsoever.
I was like, are you listening to a word I'm saying here today?
So it's 78.
I shall repeat the question.
Thank you.
In 1978, an Iowa judge dismissed a drink driving charge for what obscure reason?
Iowa.
I mean, would you class that as Bible Belt, Iowa? It's Midwest, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's the homeland of the Mormons.
Ah, right. Oh, I thought that was Utah.
You're right, it's Utah. Never mind.
Okay. I always remember Iowa as the homeland of Slipknot.
Wow, okay.
Des Moines,
of course,
Iowa.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like Slipknot and Mormons are like the opposite side of the fence.
So I know Idaho's the potato state. Utah's got Mormons. What's Iowa got? Jesus.
I mean, aside from Slipknot, you mean?
Aside from Slipknot, of course. I watched a good behind-the-scenes video they meant at a gig. Well, just looking at the drummer, basically. It's pretty good.
I bet. Man, they're mental. Those guys, they're crazy.
They've got Bruce Springsteen's drummer's son playing for him at the moment. Or they did for a little while.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was pretty cool. Something Weinstein or some sort of Steen.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
Nice. Very different style.
Very different style, but he's good. He's very good, I will say that.
You can't imagine Slipknot covering Hungry Heart, can you? Just
Yeah, definitely not. But I think Bruce Springsteen's drummer's son, again, forget his name, I think his name's Jason something, he played for Springsteen for a while on a couple of tours when he was like 17 or 18, because his dad can do it, or dad passed away or something, I couldn't remember, but very young. Right. Anyway.
So that's a good chat, actually, for another time.
Yeah.
Muso's sons.
Sure. God, mate, I honestly have no idea. Let's go priest. He's a priest with a car with about...
They've all had a bit of... Oh, gee, cut that out.
Yeah, let's get rid of
that. Okay, so yeah, he's had too much communion wine, priest. Next question. In which country are there 6 villages called Silly, 12 villages called Billy, and 2 called Pratt?
That's got to be like Eastern European, I reckon. No?
Silly, Billy, and Pratt. I mean, 6 villages called Silly, 12 called Billy. I'm gonna go like Indonesia or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I think just those words. I mean, I'm not a linguist. I'm definitely not a linguist, any way, shape, or form. But I don't know. I'm just getting in, maybe like an Indonesia vibe or Polynesia or something like that.
Silly and Billy definitely lean toward that, I would say. Pratt sounds Eastern European to me, but
yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, I'm happy to go like Indonesia. Or
yeah, I mean, I'm just guessing off the top of my head.
Let's do it.
Let's do Indonesia. Oh, by the way, I was told off during the week.
Oh God, what'd you do?
Cutting you off. So my missus listened to the podcast.
Really?
She was like, "Listen, I like it. It's all right. I mean, you have a laugh and that, and you have a few drinks, but you've got to stop cutting him off because he says something like, I want to talk to you about this,' and then you just trample over him." Like, "Oh yeah, I know that. I've seen that advert. Blah 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 blah. Let me talk about the advert. Let me talk about it. I want to talk."
Oh no, I don't think that happens. Does it? Does that happen?
So I mean, I don't know, but yeah, apparently it does. From an outsider, she said I talk over you all the time, so I've got to ease up. So,
well, that just proves how manly I am. I get other people's girlfriends to look out for me in conversations. Nah, mate.
Dear.
Just keep doing whatever the hell you're doing, mate. It's all good.
Shout out to the missus
when
she hears it.
Oh yeah.
She'll be like, "Adam, I told you not to say anything." Blah, blah, blah.
Thank you.
She doesn't sound like that in real life. I'm being horrible to her. She's 99 times out of 100, she's right.
Yeah, it's
true.
So
99 times out of 100, she's always right.
Yeah. Very true. Dude, it's crazy. I'm speaking to people that I know that are connected to the person who actually did some of our promo, and they've actually been listening to it, and they're hitting like episode 5. They've gone through them all. Yeah, they've gone through them, man. And I'm like, wow.
Shout out to those people.
Yeah,
well done.
You
deserve a medal, guys.
I was like, if you listen to more than one episode, there's got to be something there for you, right?
Because usually it's your family, and you're like, "Oh, well done."
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard the first episode.
Yeah, exactly.
We were saying the other day, weren't we, that we thought it would be funny if one of our friends or family said to us, "Loved the podcast, thought it was very funny, but do you ever talk about anything other than beers?
Yeah.
You know, do you ever do any other drinks?
Yeah.
You know, any sort of wine or whiskey or anything like that?" And we'd be like, "Nah, we just stick with beers."
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
We know how much you listen.
Yeah.
We know how much you care.
Yeah, that's the only reason we've formatted it this way, is to weed out the naysayers.
The wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry for cutting you off there.
No, it's all right, mate. I forgive you. What question are we
on? Okay, we're going to do 2 more questions.
All
then
right.
we're going to call it a day.
All right.
Penultimate question: native to the Caribbean, what sort of animal is the mountain chicken?
I'm
guessing this is like a big.
But it's got
to be a big bird, like like a turkey or a.
But would they are
a bush?
A bush?
Bush turkey.
I see. Right. A bush turkey, right? Okay. But would they? This seems too obvious to be a question. Like, I'm playing a little bit of the meta game here. Like they're never this obvious. They use chicken in their question.
So you're saying it can't be a chicken or it can't be a turkey?
I'm saying
because it's.
Well, I'm assuming when they say type of animal, they mean like bird or.
I think they want something a bit more specific than bird.
Okay.
Is it like a partridge, a pheasant, a grouse, a chicken?
Okay. So it's definitely a bird within the bird umbrella. What is it?
It's not definitely. I'm assuming it's some sort of bird.
Okay.
For them to call it the mountain chicken, it's got to be some sort of chicken, like big chicken that lives up in the mountain. Super chicken.
Okay.
Some superhero.
It's either a massive chicken that is like hardy that can live on a mountain, or it's not a bird and it's scared of everything.
Okay. And it clucks and runs away from everything, yeah.
But I think we should stick to the bird. I think we've got more evidence that it's a bird.
That's a good shout.
Well, yeah. Turkey, could they live on a mountain? Do turkeys fly?
I guess, no, they don't.
You know what? I think a flightless bird makes more sense if it's being called a chicken, you know.
Because it's like running away, scared, but it's like clucking and making making a palaver.
Where is it in the Caribbean?
Caribbean, yeah.
Well, you've been there.
Yeah, a couple of times.
See any birds?
No, just like tropical bird, proper birds,
flying birds,
green and red and yellow, sing and look good and mate. All I can think of is turkey.
All right, put turkey down. Put it down.
Okay.
I'm sure it's delicious,
turkey.
Whatever kind of animal that this is.
Only organic mountain chicken, please.
I'll tell you what, next Thanksgiving, I'm going to get a mountain chicken. Whatever you say it is, in a minute, I'm going to buy one of those and I'm going to carve it up and I'm going to cook it for you, okay?